You're listening to the Chopped Podcast, episode number 132. Hey everyone, just a quick note before we get started on today's very special episode. If you have not bought your ticket yet to the Chopped Academy SEO webinar, and if it aligns with your goals, I encourage you to go buy your ticket today. Here's the deal. Everything I do here at Chopped has a goal attached to it. I want to help people just like you and me, bloggers who love food, have the right resources available to them. It's one of the reasons I actually started the podcast in the first place, to provide free resources and also just to kind of spread the wealth of knowledge that's out there. There have been so many times in my blogging career where I felt all alone and confused and just ready to quit at every turn. It's a miserable feeling. I don't know if you've been there. I think a lot of us have. When you think everyone else has everything figured out but you, I just hate that feeling. And I felt this way when I went to food blogging conferences. I kid you not, I left in tears. I felt like it was a big waste of money. And I talked to so many other people who had that same feeling. They also expressed, going back to their hotel room at night and, shedding some tears over how, I don't know, maybe left out they felt. I felt that same way myself. And so you know what I did? I started my own food blogging conference, the Chopped Conference. And my goal was that everybody would feel included and on the same page. And, nobody would be feeling left out at my conference. And, I felt the same way about this podcast, that it was a way of just opening up the dialogue and letting everybody feel like they were part of this big group called food blogging. And now we're offering via Chopped Academy webinars. And we're beginning with a topic that I think is so important, SEO, search engine optimization. This very first webinar is called Maximizing Blog Visibility, Dominating Google in 2017. It's led by one of the best SEO experts around, and his expertise in food blogging in particular makes him one of the best in the world. I can't tell you how proud it makes me feel to be able to offer this webinar, because here's the thing, how many times have you scratched your head about SEO? I know that I have myself, and just if I knew that there was a good person out there to hire, I would have hired them a long time ago. But I don't know, I think I've had this fear like I would hire somebody, they'd give me bad advice, and then my blog would be even worse than when I started. And I don't know, it's just scary, don't you think? There's so many people out there. And in fact, there are probably well-meaning people out there, but they don't know food blogging. And this, it's different. So I was so thrilled to find Casey. And as you know, we did the podcast episode a few episodes ago and received very well. Casey has worked with some of the top food bloggers, and he's also on staff with Food Blogger Pro. That he knows his stuff. And, as I said before, I'm just thrilled to be able to offer him via this webinar to you. And so you can have that very top-notch knowledge available to you to pursue the dreams that you have for your blog. And I know you've got them. I have them too. So we can be on the same page on that. I encourage you to join this webinar. It's happening on Thursday, June 8th. You can learn more about this Maximizing Blog Visibility webinar. You can learn more about Casey, and you can even buy your tickets by going to chopped.academy/webinar. Do that today so you can take advantage of early bird pricing. Okay, now on to the show where there's something very special waiting for you today. Hey everyone, I'm Marley of the blog Namely Marley. Thanks for joining me today. This is the 132nd episode of the Chopped Podcast. This is...
What?
You spoiled my surprise, Kara.
Sorry. I couldn't sit back and be quiet. I can't help it.
I was going to say to everybody, guess what? It's Fry Chats. That's okay.
Sorry, I'm really bad at surprises.
That's all right. I'm really bad at it too. I can't it's like if I buy you something, it's like I can't stop talking about or thinking about talking to you about it, and then I eventually give it away.
Well, that's the thing with my husband and I. We can't celebrate Christmas properly or any kind of celebration. We end up opening all the presents probably like 5 days before Christmas because they're just sitting under the tree. We got to open them.
You can't wait.
We're terrible. No, yeah. Absolutely.
Now that you've got a little munchkin, though, you're going to have to find a way to wait.
Oh, it's going to be so hard. Oh, gosh.
I know. In fact, I was thinking the last time we did a Fried Chats, you were still expecting.
Forever ago.
I know, it's been forever. And now you're a mama.
I am a mom. I know, it's so crazy. I can't even believe that it's been a long time since we've done a Fry Chat. It feels like it was just last week, to be honest.
Yes.
For me, at least.
I know. I feel the same way. And I'm always thinking about things that you and I could be talking about in Fry Chats. And just so everybody else knows, Kara and I have been talking behind the scenes. It's not like we know. We just don't talk at all. But,
right.
But you've had so much going on. And you just, every now and then you got to take a break and do what you need to do.
Yeah, I needed a time to catch my breath, really. A lot has happened. So,
yes.
But it's pretty awesome.
It can be a real struggle being a new mom.
It's definitely different, and you just can't prepare for it. I mean, everything is true what they say. Like, you just don't know until it happens to you. And it's the greatest ride ever, but it kind of gives your world a paradigm shift. So you need some time to kind of go, whoa, what just happened? Okay, I need to figure out what's going on. Who am I? Yes. How this all works. So, whew.
Definitely. And I don't think anybody can prepare you for that. In fact, I felt like I had this happen to me a lot, that people would say to me, your life is going to change so much after you have that baby. And I just would be like, what are you talking about? But then after you have the baby, you realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. You just accept that I know nothing until it starts to happen. But it's awesome. It's the greatest thing. I have a little boy. He's a big dude. He is, I mean, he looks like he's 6 months, and he's only 4.5 months. He's just long, and we don't know where he gets his height from. He's like in the 95th percentile of height. While myself and my husband are like, we are not tall people. So he's just the sweetest little boy. He has the best little heart. You can already just see it coming through. And he's so much fun. He's now in the phase where he wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning singing. No joke. He sings.
Oh, my God. You can hear him in his room?
Oh, he sleeps in our room.
Oh, okay. Got
real. And he just is nonstop singer and talker, and I'm afraid of what's going to happen when he starts crawling, because he is an active boy.
Yeah, your life will never be the same after that.
No, he's gonna keep me on my toes. But it's been a lot of fun, and he's just the neatest little kid ever.
Oh, I love it. And, sometimes we have an owl in our backyard. It starts making noise at 3 or 4 in the morning, and Sean and I will just lay there and listen. So I'm just imagining you listening, like it's almost like sounds from the heavens of your baby.
Sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't feel like that, but I just kind of roll over and look at him. I'm like, are you serious right now? But then it makes me laugh. No, you're right. It really is awesome. Because you realize I'm not always going to have this time. So,
yes. It's lovely.
It's so awesome.
We're here to talk about Fry Chats. And Fry Chats, what is even Fry Chats about? Do you even remember, Kara?
I don't. Who are you? I don't know. Where am I? Fry Chats is a time where we kind of talk a little. I don't even remember. Just kidding.
It's like the spiritual side of blogging.
About blogging,
and I think it's like real chatting, right? Like it's like you hear a lot of people talk about the things you should be doing and how, we should have these numbers and this thing.
We don't talk about that.
This is just like real talk. This is how it really feels to be a food blogger. Yeah.
This is where you come when you are like just tired and you don't want to think about making video, and we're just telling you, hey, we're on the same boat.
Yeah.
Just keeping it real. On Fridays,
yeah. I heard this conversation recently, and it was this lady. I wish I could remember her name, and I can't. I think it's Maria Popov, and she has this site that's like Getting Smarter Every Day or something like that. I can't think of the name of it. I'll put the link in the show notes page if you want to check it out. But what I heard her say recently is that everybody is out there trying to create content for their audience. And what she said was a different recommendation, and that is you should create content that you really love. And I just loved that.
I do too, because I can tell that blogs that are creating content because they genuinely love it versus blogs who are creating content because they think that's what's going to make them money or, you know, get them notoriety. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So you can see that, and not that that's a bad thing in itself, because sometimes people just want a recipe for X, and they're going to that site for that. But I think for you personally, the person behind creating the content, in order to stick with blogging for a long time, you have to create stuff that you're really passionate about and that you love, don't you think? I mean,
yeah.
It would get really tiring.
Yeah, how can you expect your audience to love it if you don't love it?
Oh, well, why don't you put that on a shirt? You're right.
Yeah, that would be a nice t-shirt, wouldn't it?
It would.
So I say this to everybody, and I have like 5 fingers pointing back at myself, because I do fall into that trap of like, let's just get her done, and let's just, you know, I need a banana bread recipe, so let's do it.
Yes. Yeah. We're all guilty of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yet I find myself, when I'm in the kitchen and I'm just letting myself truly experiment, that's when I kind of go, oh, wow, this is kind of cool, these 2 flavors together. I really like this. And that's, to me, like a more passionate side of what I'm doing.
Yeah. And you then influence the people who are reading it to go, oh, I didn't even think about that. That sounds really cool. And then that passion that you have currently for creating that recipe, then, or whatever it is that you create, then, catches on fire to somebody who's reading it or looking at your stuff. That's kind of what, I don't know, for me, that's what I want to do. I want people to remember what I do and smile and catch that same vision that I have. You might not make what I am making, but at least you're having a good time looking at it the way I did. And for me and my mission of food blogging, that's what I want people to remember.
Oh, and Kara, I just have to say, I think you do this so much better than I do. I love your content, and I'm just like, I'm hugging myself as I say this, because I'm imagining myself hugging you. Like, your content, you're so creative. And like, I was at on your post today that you published, because I'm on your email list, and I get your fresh out of the oven. And I know that you were kind of against the long pins, and now you're doing a few of those. But when you do them, oh my God, they're so creative. They're so different. I love it.
You're the sweetest, Marley. Seriously. If all the people listening out there, find somebody who just supports you and just encourages you. I'm so serious. That's what Marley is for me.
Yes, I am.
I can't tell you guys how many times Marley has talked me off the ledge in the last 5 months. It's been a really hard time for me. And I think part of the problem, I just want to talk about what you just spoke on. Thank you for everything, seriously. And part of the difficulties in creating the content that you love is that you're going to be different. And you might not be as widespread than a lot of the other blogs are that are doing really well. And it can be a real big downer at times, because for me, I'm just so consumed sometimes with I just need to keep growing that I don't see what's in front of me. And I've been struggling really hard with this, and I have considered just throwing the towel in and stop creating that creative stuff, because I put my heart and soul into it and I want people to enjoy it. And sometimes it just seems to fall flat when I see other people maybe making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then people are like, oh my God, this is just blowing my mind right now. The way you spread that peanut butter in that video was unreal. And it's just, I just look at it and go, okay, well, I don't know what to do. But if I didn't have the support of you to tell me, just keep going, and all the love and support, I don't know where I'd be right now. So thank you. Thank you. And I think that's why we wanted to talk about this topic, because it's so important to know that, you have to be proud of what you do, regardless of the page views, regardless of the Instagram likes, regardless of the shares on Facebook, whatever it is, it's such BS to get wrapped up in that. If you're creating the content that you love, then I think that's like the best thing that you can do. I mean, yes, to make money from it is also good, but you first have to be proud of what you're putting out there.
Oh, yes. I think that's probably a really important metric, that it's easy to get left behind, right? Because we just feel like,
yes,
oh, I got to create photos like so-and-so. She's got really good photos. I got to be in photos like that. I've got to have all the right content, and I've got to do this, and I've got to be on social media. And the next thing you know, I don't know, it just starts to feel very heavy.
It's so heavy. It's so heavy. And for me personally, that's what the past 5 months have been, because, having a baby, I can't offer a lot of my time for work, and I battle with it. Sometimes I just don't even want to, but I don't have time to create all these videos. I don't have time to be on Facebook and be posting 5 times a day and networking with everybody in my niche neighborhood. And, I don't have time for that. And I don't even care to right now.
I know, I feel the same way. I want a life. Yeah. I want to be able to enjoy my life too.
I do too. And I think that and that's fine. It's fine if you want to devote your time to that, and that's fine if you don't. But you have to be open to, I don't want to say the consequences, but the results of what happens from whatever it is that you want. So if I don't want to put my time towards tons of Facebook stuff, then I have to be okay with my Facebook not growing astronomically. And that's fine,
Again, don't you feel like that's kind of one of those paradigm, is it a paradigm shift or is it an algorithm shift on the part of Facebook, where it seems like now you have to be constantly feeding the beast in order to get your Facebook page to grow the way you want it to?
Yeah, and it's not like it was 5 years ago. I mean, a shocker, right? But 5 years ago, you could just leave a link and it was great, and you would grow. Facebook now, you have to keep them on Facebook. So that means you have to be creating memes. You have to be sharing memes. You have to be creating videos, things, and then randomly peppering in a link to your own site. But it's a lot of work. And if you have the time, good for you. But not everybody has the time for that, and not everybody wants to do that. And I think that's part of creating the content you love, is also being a part of social media in the way that you can be and the way that you love. Don't buy into this fact that you have to be posting 5 times. Don't buy into the fact that you have to put your whole life on Instagram and be doing Instagram stories and blah, blah, blah. Because if that's not you and that's not how you relate to your audience, and if it feels just like oversharing or whatever, then do you. Do it in the way that you love. And maybe you won't grow as fast as others who are doing it, but don't forget about the handful of people that you already have following you right now. Never forget about them. Stop looking at the thousands and thousands of people that you could be reaching. What about the people, maybe you have 100 followers. What about them? They love you. So remember them. Don't forget about them too.
I just had this image in my mind of Kara as a 5-year-old with her hands on her hips, standing there being kind of stubborn. Because what I think I'm hearing you say is being a creative person that you love the content you're sharing requires a little bit of stubbornness. You've got to go against the grain a little bit.
And it's hard. And I was just saying too, I was ready to give up. A week ago, literally, everybody, I was on the phone with Marley crying at the grocery store. I was at the grocery store in the cereal aisle crying. You're going to hit those moments, and you might be in them right now listening to this, or you're yep, was there a month ago, or maybe you haven't and you're on your way to feeling that way. But know that that's a good thing. It's kind of testing you to question where you're standing with your artwork. Where how do I feel about this? You've got to re-question it, okay? And then it kind of makes you rewrite your mission statement all over again and say, I'm proud of this, and this is who I am. And I'm accepting this. Did you hear that? That was my baby burping, by the way. It wasn't me. No, it was not me.
I thought that was you, Kara. Sure, blame it on the baby.
I'll own it. Trust.
Yeah, that's right. That's cute. No, okay, so I love this, and I do think it kind of comes down to this comparison game that we do again and again. However, I want to go back to something that you said, because you said we had to be prepared to accept the consequences of not following the path that everybody else is doing. However, what if some of those consequences are positive? What if we find a niche that we really love, and what if it turns out that niche can be rewarding in both an artistic and a financial way?
I love that, and I think consequences was a bad choice of words. I just couldn't think of anything else.
I like
but
that word. Yes,
the results of whatever it is. And you're absolutely right. Maybe you become surprised by, I actually have time now to enjoy my life. Because let's be real, when you work for yourself and when you're a food blogger, you can just go into the wee hours and work, which is fine and good. But like, what I always like to ask myself is, for what? Like, what am I working towards?
Because I want to have 10,000 followers on Facebook. That's why.
Great. And then what? Like, is there something going to magically happen? Yeah. And then are you going to become like a whole person at that point? Like, it just, after a while, you just realize when you get into the comparison trap of like, but so-and-so has, 20,000 more followers than me, and they're not posting good content, blah, blah, blah. Not that I've ever done that.
No, me neither. No. Never.
Not that wasn't part of my conversation last week with you. But like, okay, so then I get their numbers, and then what? Big deal. Like, does that make me a better person? No, it doesn't. And in 20 years, is it going to make a difference in anything? No, it's not. So what is going to make a difference? It's creating work that you're proud of, that when you hit publish, you're like, yeah, I claim that. And even if like nobody likes it and it hits crickets, it doesn't matter, because when I see that on my page, I'm like, yeah, I made that, and I'm proud of it.
That is just like the best metric ever. I want to put that quote up somewhere, just like,
Yeah, I made that. That's going to be on a shirt. I'm going to put that on a onesie for my child. Yeah, I made that.
Yes. I mean, yes, to feel a sense of pride about the work that you're doing. I mean, honestly, why are we doing this otherwise? Because we say that, we're...
Popularity? No,
yeah. But,
that's what it feels like sometimes.
If we're trying to avoid a 9-to-5 job because we hate those 9-to-5 jobs, but yet then we're taking on this work to do things that we don't like to do either. I don't know. I think there's something to this, that we have to create content we love, but I also feel like that means you have to know what it is that you love.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great point. You're absolutely right. And you won't know that until you just keep trying things out. And to be honest, sometimes you have to consider what your audience loves too. You don't have to cater just to what you want, and you don't have to cater to just what your audience wants. You can find a happy medium. The way you do it is by trying new things and seeing what, the response is, and going off of that.
Yeah. That's a little bit like a comedian, don't you think? Like, then a comedian can stand up there and say the jokes that they love. But you also love getting laughs. You love getting reaction from your audience. So there's a love of that as well.
And there's always a different audience that's going to find something funny and not funny. So that same joke is going to either bomb or succeed depending on the audience, right? So It's about finding that right audience that sees what you see. And it's funny because like, people will say, so what, it's May now, and what's the popular food right now in May?
Asparagus?
Strawberries?
Okay,
or
strawberries.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, clearly I don't do food by the seasons, but a lot of people are like, well, let's do stuff that's popular immediately, and what people are searching for. Now, what I do is it's really different from a lot of people, and maybe you didn't know that you wanted a waffle with googly eyes with that's shoved with blueberries until you see it. You know what? Sometimes it's not about like, well, so and so's doing it, so I have to do that too. It's creating new stuff and trying to see if, well, maybe that's something you want. Who knew? But you're never going to know until I put it out there, and then people are like, oh, I actually do enjoy cookies that have funny faces on them. And I never knew that. Am I making sense?
Yes, absolutely. In other words, I feel like what you're saying is if we're always following the recipe of what we see other bloggers doing, we never experiment and try different things, then
yes.
How do we know what we love?
So how do you know how to listen to me? You speak my language.
I do. I speak Kara fluently.
Thank you.
I'm multilingual.
Oh thank you. Oh my God. So good.
It's just so funny because here we are providing recipes for other people. And I'm sure we all have those audience members that want very specific instructions on their recipes and are frustrated if it's not exactly perfect. But I think that's hard for me sometimes because I look at a recipe and I see a roadmap. I'm not looking for exacts, maybe if it's something complicated, but for the most part, I think we're looking for recipes. I find myself looking for the recipe for success.
Yes.
And in reality, I think you just nailed it. The recipe is I have to experiment. I have to try different things for me to discover, oh, this is what I love doing right now.
Yes. Yeah. And that takes time. That absolutely takes a lot of time. So that requires patience with yourself and the allowance to grow in that and to figure out what it is that you really do love. And just don't be afraid of being different and stepping out and doing something that not a lot of people are doing. It might not be the most popular thing, but it might be the most fulfilling thing for you. And really, that's what you should be more concerned about, or at least I think that, that's important to me is, am I making myself proud here? I don't care about, I don't know, whoever in some other state who I have no idea who they are, whether or not they like it or not,
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. And I just think, if you have questions on this stuff, just go back and listen to other Fight Chat episodes because I feel like we've already laid out some of the groundwork for how you know yourself and know what you like. What Kara's saying is important to experiment. You can also, I find it very helpful to journal every day. I write 3 pages long, most every day, not every day. And then meditation is another way of just like getting in touch with yourself and knowing who you are and what you love. Yeah.
And just stop like looking at other people's stuff.
That's really important.
Unless it inspires you. If it doesn't, unfollow them. If it makes you jealous or, if it gets in your head, just you have to silence that because that is a killer of creativity. And it's hard these days. It really is. It's difficult, but do what you can to nurture your own creativity and not stifle it.
Oh, I love that. And, one of the ways that I have found to do that lately is to take time to do the things that I love around the house. Like I used to have all these home projects. I like decorating. I like things. And I just kind of have given that up as a food blogger because I've just been so busy. But I'm happier when I take the time to, does this room look like I want or that? I don't know.
Yes.
Feeds my soul.
Because you have a life outside of this.
Yes, exactly.
Who knew, right?
Who knew that could be of value? Yes.
And I don't want to put anybody down by saying this, so I hope nobody takes me the wrong way, but there are things that you can do in your life that doesn't have to be put on social media too. There are, I don't know, for me, there are sacred things that I don't need to always be sharing. So that's really important to feed that side as well. Spending time with your family, spending time with your friends, doing things that you don't always have to put out there in the world. because I think the more we start doing that, then we realize I don't need everyone's approval for what I put out there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's interesting. The other day, I took an early morning walk, and I was out on my dock that I love to go to, and the water was flowing, and I was kind of preoccupied because I was going to share it. And then I thought, what if I just keep this moment to myself?
Yeah.
I love
Sometimes
that.
I do too. Sometimes that's just what you need is your own private moment.
Yes.
And it's fine to put stuff out there as well, but not everything needs to be shared. And I think that just adds to like the richness of your life when you're able to separate the two. And
yes,
at least for me, that's how it works, because I'm just not really good at putting everything out there. I don't want people to know everything about me. It's why I only have like a handful of friends. I'm just private like that. So, and that is what I love. And that is what I need in order to succeed in life. So it's just knowing yourself. Right, buddy?
I think he agrees. I'm hearing him cheer you on.
That's right. That's right. He's my little cheerleader.
Aw, we all need those.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think we covered it. What do you think, Kara?
I think we're good, man. It feels so good to be back.
You have no idea. I think I just
do.
like sit by the phone and just think about things I could talk with you about.
Well, I appreciate your early morning text this morning saying we have to do this.
Oh, I love it. So everybody, I hope that you got some moment of inspiration out of today, and I hope you take it and use it in your life. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah, and come back next week. We'll be here.
Okay, so I guess this
Marley.
is us signing off. Bye, Kara.
That's right. Roger that. Bye.
Thanks for joining us with another episode of Fry Chats. We love chatting about the soul side of food blogging, so we hope you love hearing it. You can sign up today for the Chopped Academy Maximizing Blog Visibility webinar so you can take advantage of early bird pricing and learn more about SEO tools that can transform your site. Go to chopped.academy/webinar to buy your ticket today. Thanks to everyone for your support of the Chopped podcast. You know, there's so many ways you can support this show. You can go to iTunes, you can go to Stitcher, you can leave a review. That makes a huge difference. You can also share about it with your friends on social media, on your own blog or podcast. Those things all make a big difference and really helps the show get more exposure. So please keep spreading the word. You know, you inspire me, and I hope today's show is helpful and inspirational to you as well. Now go forth and be your best you.